What's going on, guys? How are we doing today? Today's video, I wanted to go cover Omicrons. I want to cover that because right now in the game, I think they are one of the most important mat or thing to have on either for GAC or for TW in your roster, in your collection of heroes, right? So let's start off with some territory war ones, and then we're going to work into some GAC ones. So I don't really have much like a feedback in terms of all Omicrons because I haven't heard like about Chief Nebbit. I haven't heard with some of the Phoenix ones. But I can tell you in terms of some other ones I know of, like we'll start this list off right now. Mara Jade. Mara Jade has one in Territory War on paper. It looks phenomenal, right? It still is pretty good, but I wouldn't say this is nearly as strong as we thought it was on, reading this. Because if you think about it, I mean, most of these are, they tend to look really good on paper as we read them, but when they translate into the game in Territory Wars, it's completely different. I wouldn't say completely, but to a degree, it is pretty different. So people thought this was great to kill gases because, you lose 100% protection. He does, but, he doesn't, like, just sit there the entire match. He gets back up, he recovers protection. So in that regard's not what we wanted, but I would say it still does very good against other teams. Right now, people loving to use this against some of those Mon Mothmas. Really, it says right here, and Mara Jade gets 100% TM. So she starts the entire match with a full guaranteed turn unless somebody stops TM gain like a Hux or a Master Kenobi. But I wouldn't be using this guy against Master Kenobi. So anyways, definitely a good one, but, it's not as it reads on paper in terms of that one counter. But in pretty much any other counter for offense, it's a great character. I think it's a good one. I don't know if I don't want to slap it on just yet because my whole thinking is to get Boba Fett, Sign of Django, done and dusted. Get him, with relics, get him all done. Get him out of the way, okay? And then get his Omicrons on, all three of them, ASAP. And then, once I get those on, then go and think about some GAC ones. For Territory, that's 3 different Omicrons for just one character. He'll be pretty much a GL in Territory War, so that's what I want. In terms of other ones, though, other Omicrons that are not for Boba Fett, we got the Mara Jade one, of course. And the other one I wanted to go after was, where is she? Phasma. Phasma's good. I'm not going to say she's not good, but I don't feel like she's bad either. It's like in the middle ground for me. I've definitely seen some footage. I've seen people rock and roll with Phasma. I don't even know. Okay, here she is. I was like, I don't even know where she is. It's definitely good if you have it like a proper modded team, like with some First Order. Like you don't have my kind of mods on them. They can still do some like big things for you in TW. But I definitely feel like right now, Territory War Omicrons, I don't think there's like, wow, that one's speaking out, as other ones in GAC are. I just don't really find it, TBH, to be honest, okay? I think it's still really smart to just hold on to the Territory War Omicrons. What people are doing right now is saving 3 because, it's 20 mats per 1 ability for an Omicron. So just saving around 60 or so, and then after that, then you can go and dip into some more Omicrons because you want to make sure you have the 3 for Mr. Boba Fett, right? Next conquest, he'll be unlocked, so that's around like a month or so. So you want to make sure you have everything built for that. And for me, I have not been doing crazy refreshes for these things, and I think at like 63. So pretty close to where I want to be, but not quite where I should be, for everything I'm supposed to get for Omicrons. Anyways, Territory Omicrons, I don't really have much else to go into. There's a lot more in GAC, I feel like, than there are in Territory Wars. You have like the weird ones like Chief Nebbit. You have the new Hera one, stuff like that. Like, I don't really find many people going that route with their first Territory Omicron. I think most people are doing the same thing I'm doing, and most of my guild's doing is just saving for Boba Fett. So it is what it is. Next, though, let's just go and dive into some of the GAC ones. GAC is definitely the better ones, I would say, in terms of the use. GAC, you get your crystals from GAC now, okay? You just do. Plain and simple, you do. And it's very important because of that. Not to say that Territory Wars isn't, but definitely between the two modes, if you are just wanting to get crystals, you definitely need to get some and give some love to GAC. a bit more. Not to say you have to get these Omicrons, but they definitely help a lot. So the ones I'll be going into the most today, I'll dabble a little bit into dashes, but you know, most of them we're going to be talking about is Quigons and Zams. Those two right there, Zam and Quigon, those are pretty nuts. Okay, we're going to go and talk about that and how they've influenced my GAC this first week and how they kind of pit up against others. So the 1-3 that I would say, I mean, I know Star Killer just came out, but not many people watching will probably have a Star Killer, I would assume. But we're going to just, you know, talk about Dash, Zam, and Quigon. So Dash, his is pretty cool. I'm not going to share it because it's not my footage, but I was watching Xerath's GAC where he has Dash, not even a 7-star dash, or yeah, not even 7-star dash, not even relic, and he has the Omicron in this. And he has a pretty well built up prepared squad with some of those light side scoundrels, and he was able to just like shred some teams. I think he used it versus a JTR team with some bros or something like that. I want to say maybe it was JTR without the bros. And it was like a pretty easy win. I mean, as long as you have a pretty beefy Vandor Chewbacca, there is no way you're going to lose because they keep on reviving. While he has prepared, they always will revive with his unique on Vandor. I'll show you right here. I'm pretty certain that it's the Ferocious Protector. Yep, right here. It says, when another light side angel is defeated, revive that ally at 60% health if he is prepared, which he will always be prepared in that. So it's a great one. Again, I don't think it's like a must-have for GAC right now. That's more of an offensive Omicron, and it's hard to get that whole team built up. So let's just maybe talk more about Quigon next. Quigon, I think, is a bit overhyped, especially now that CG came out and kind of, you know, mentioned the whole Quigon Omicron thing. And let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. Quigon Omicron issue. Let's swap over here. Omicron's still great, whether it's going to be fixed or not after the death penalty or the death bonus from Quigon. It says, we're aware of an issue with Qui-Gon Jinn in Grand Arena, whereas Omicron upgrade is providing more offense than intended. Currently, when Qui-Gon's defeated, he is providing Jedi allies with excessive offense on top of the 400% he is granting. So, I just think that's funny. I mean, they can't test this in like a GAC setting, you know, before they publish. I don't know. I think it's just a joke. But it's definitely a good one. I just think it's for fools. Not saying you're a fool if you place it, but if you lose to a Qui-Gon Omicron, then you kind of are... you're getting like a little bit baited in terms of the GAC. You just don't know how to play it. You're just a little bit not on the... You're not on top of your game, I feel like, if you're losing to Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron. I've seen people lose with Kylo. I've seen people lose with Gas. Countless other teams. You know, there are counters to this guy. Okay, there are very strong counters to him that don't take much. And I think for that reason, you're not pulling those strong teams away. For example, the biggest one is a Bad Batch. And to go along with this, let me go pull up this video from my stream recently. So, I mean, it's pretty easy to kill this team. I'm not going to say, though, that it's a bad Omicron. I think it's a pretty good one. But the Zam one we'll go into in a little bit, I think takes the cake for sure. But I mean, just look at this. I'm using Bad Batch. My Bad Batch are so bad. I outspeed with my Echo, and that's really all you need. Just making yourself a fast Echo. I have a fifth being a Cody here. It's not that good. My guys outside of the Echo are modded pretty poorly. But it just kind of goes to show you. I mean, this is like one of the better Qui-Gon teams you can set with Cam and Anakin and GK. It stops Troopers. If you have no GK, then Troopers are able to kill this team. But with GK, it kind of pulls something a little bit stronger. Bad Batch, I guess you could say, is a bit stronger, but I don't see many people setting Bad Batch on defense these days. Bad Batch is definitely more of an offensive team. It kills Grievouses, and now guess what can kill some of these Qui-Gon teams. So definitely, I think it's just not that strong because Bad Batch can kill it. That was a big hit, by the way, but wait for Anakin's next hit. If this is the offense they're trying to fix, then I can kind of see why. I'll try to slow down if I can, but you guys got to see this damage. It's right here. Let's see. Playback speed 0.25. Look at this. 184 non-K crit. That's pretty ridiculous. 184K non-crit on the wrecker. He tanks it, but like, imagine he didn't tank that, right? I just think this is more of like a nuke team. It's a banner drainer team for sure, whether, you know, you're going to be using this on offense or not. and even on, you know, whatever team you use against it. Like, I lost banners like with the Bad Batch here. I lost a few. So, like, Anakin with Qui-Gon definitely is a banner draining team, but I wouldn't say it's like, oh, I see this on defense, I'm definitely going to have to use something very strong, and I'm probably going to lose. No, that's not the team. The team is more of a, like, it kind of just scares away some people, or, like, it just makes them a bit more stressed out when you shouldn't be, you know? It's more of, like, a noob trap, I would say. That's, like, the best phrase I could use for that counter. Anyways, Qui-Gon, definitely good, but I don't think he's the best. I think the best Omicron is Zam, and I'll tell you why. If you're thinking about Qui-Gon's Omicron, you know, what team are you using? You know, you're pulling away some if you're, you know, a top-end, you know, GP player. I'm 7.6. I could probably definitely put in Qui-Gon with Cam if I wanted, with Anakin and General Kenobi. Definitely is able to do that. Like, that's not even a big issue. Probably for me, though, I'd probably not use Cam and save him for offense. But definitely could still pull a GK and a JK into that team. But you know, that's not really doing much in terms of my roster. I kind of like to have, if I were to go for an Omicron, I still have no Omicrons right now, I would go for Zams, and I'll tell you why. Because Zams pretty much splits your bounty hunters into 3 potential teams. You will get use out of literally every single bounty hunter here. It depends. I say that like you could. Most times you probably won't, because Zam is very good if you have her with the whole Django lead or a Bosk lead with Boba, Grief, and the OG Mando. In that team, I probably would use, if I had a Zam Omicron, I would probably use Bosk with Grief, Zam, Boba, and then I'd probably slot in the Mandalorian and then save Jango Fett for the Mandalorian team on defense, which is a great team, by the way. The Zam Omicron is nuts, guys. If I had one to use and I would, you know, go that route, I would slap this on in an instant if I had an extra one, if I had time to remod. I haven't had time to remod because I'm just so busy right now. But I mean, look, you are getting, I'll just check it out on this little screen here. You are getting 60% increase to her offense, max health, and max protection, and then Zam gains 5% speed for each other bounty hunter ally, and then it says bounty hunter allies gain 20% of her max offense, max health, max protection, and speed. That is pretty crazy. I think somebody did the math here. You're getting around 60 to 80 extra base speed. That is insane. Not to mention the other bonuses here that you're getting as well. That, like I just said, it opens the door for more teams on defense and even more teams for offense. And that, in my opinion, is more strong than Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon, you're just pulling away a few in one defensive team. Meanwhile, this team is pulling more for offense and even for defense if you wanted to. Like, imagine you have a Zam Omicron with this new Boba Fett guy and a Fennec team. I mean, it's pretty deadly, guys. Definitely more based around bounty hunters, though, and not with scoundrels, as we can see here. But yeah, this is insane. I think this is probably one of the best Omicrons you can get on your roster, or on anybody, for that matter, at the moment, until we get, you know, of course, Boba Fett and more people getting Starkiller. But, you know, the split here, I'd say, is getting, I don't have my aura built up at all, as we can see here, but if I had one, I would probably get an aura lead, maybe with some other guys to build up a contract, like, let's say, a Bosk and a Grief, and probably even, you know, an OG Mando, like aura, Bosk, Grief, OG Mando, and then probably Boba Fett. And then I'd probably set a Zam, or maybe a different guy with Zam, a different leadership with Zam, because that's insane to get all that bonuses. Or maybe even not use Boba Fett in that team with Bosk and use Django, or not Django and use Fennec, because there's so many different DPS attackers now for the bounty hunters. You can definitely slot in and out other guys. And you could use like a Boba Fett lead with Zam, because Boba Fett lead is also doing more damage, and you get a bit more speed as well for each debuffed enemy. I mean, it's crazy, guys. Zam opens a lot more doors. That's just 2 teams, and the third team could be one for defense. I like the split personally of an aura team and then a Zam team, and then you still have a Bosk team too. That's a pretty good split. But I think it's just safe to keep 2 different teams, because usually if you're using bounty hunters without the Zam Omicron, you're really just stuck with one team, and then a crappy B tier team, or not even that, like a C or D tier team. But with Zam Omicron, then you make pretty much 2 A tier teams, and that's really why I think it's so good and a lot better than Qui-Gon's. And that's just for defense. If you want to use Zam on offense, you can probably kill some Gases, some Darth Revens. You know, that speed increase is ridiculous. It allows for a lot more. So that's my 2 cents on it all, guys. I'm going to probably shut up here because I could keep going on and on about Zam. I don't even have her yet. I've just seen what she can do, and it's pretty ridiculous on paper and what it translates into in-game. So I definitely think it's worth getting. I think it's just one of those... I don't think you have to get it right now, but it definitely gives you a bit more of a advantage in the GAC format right now. Like, for example, I'm fighting a guy that has one, and let's just kind of go over his roster. I think this guy's from Wolfpack. It's a pretty good opponent. We'll see if I win this this round or not against this guy. But, I mean, look at this guy. Only Omicron he's got is on Zam. Zam's got the Omicron, and look at his bounty hunters. They're solid. He's got a Relic Fennec. Definitely is able to pull and use different guys into his bounty hunters if you wanted to. Zam has the Omicron. She's at, let's see, 301 speed. She gets more speed than gives it to other people. I mean, it's ridiculous. So on top of that, you know, you can definitely slow down if you wanted to. That's a nice thing with this Omicron, by the way, as well, is that you can slow down and give better mods to other guys if you have a fast Bosk or a fast Grief. Like for me, I have a little bit faster than this Bosk and Grief. But if I had this Omicron, I'd probably slow down and focus on different stats on a Bosk and a Grief and a Boba and all those guys and just make them do more damage or make them a bit more durable. I think that's pretty scary. If you can make that happen, you can, you know, focus on different parts to their stats. Like, for example, if you want to use Bosk lead and have him mod it crazy high protection and tenacity and defense, or like whatever you want to go for that, the durability part of a character in mods, and then you slot in Zam with even more of that, I think that's very scary, guys. Anyways, that's for a different topic. I will probably be fighting one if you guys want to watch me fight one in GAC. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, I'm out of here. You guys give me your thoughts down below in the comment section. I would love to know. Are you guys also going to be saving 3 for Boba Fett and then, you know, using everything else on whatever else you want? Because that's what I'm doing and most of my guild's doing. So I'd love to know on that as well. Anyways, have a good one, guys. Until next time, I will see you later. Peace out and have a good one. Bye, guys.